This week on Movie Time Machine, the spirits of a deceased couple are harassed by an unbearable family that has moved into their home and hire a malicious spirit to drive them out. This is Beetlejuice. Beetlejuice.
Don't do it. Don't do it.
Welcome to Movie Time Machine, your retro movie review podcast where we take movies from the past and relive them in the present. This week's movie, Beetlejuice, released in 1988, directed by Tim Burton, starring Michael Keaton, Alec Baldwin, Gina Davis, Catherine O'Hara, and Winona Ryder. But before we go any further, I'm your Time Machine host, Chad. I want to introduce you to my Time Machine co-host today. First, he's always living 1 year behind in the entertainment world. It's Casey.
You guys, I'm really excited to play this new PS4 I got.
Jesus Christ.
And he's our living encyclopedia of movie knowledge, James. What's up?
I don't think I know everything. I'm pretty good, though.
And finally, last but not least, will he ever finish The Mandalorian? It's Jamie.
So he is like a tiny Yoda, right?
Oh my god.
Wait, hold on. Who's Yoda?
I don't know. I haven't finished.
Is he like a Jar Jar? That's coming out next year, right?
Baby Jar Jar.
Oh, God.
Then I would finish.
I was telling my nephew, he's like, oh my god, what's going to happen? I'm like, so like the child is going to grab the Darksaber and like just start wielding it around. He's like, that's never going to happen.
Jamie doesn't even know what the Darksaber is.
I have no idea. Is it like antimatter? Like anti-saber?
Well, he's still only on like episode 5 of season 1.
Yeah, I just
Oh,
saw,
I forgot you were still in season 1.
Yeah, Bill Burr showed up. F is for family, M is for Mando. That's as far as I've gotten.
For family, M is for Mando.
Hey, you know how in How to Train Your Dragon there is the Night Fury? And then
Yeah.
the white one is Light Fury?
Yeah.
Do you know what their kids are called?
Gray?
Night Lights. How adorable.
Oh, that's adorable.
I saw it on an action figure the other day.
What?
Yeah,
All right.
there's How to Train Your Dragon action figures. You know, they're really, they really are losing content.
Nah, dude, all kids' movies and shows are really just a cash grab for the toys.
I don't know anymore if that's true.
I don't know. Did they learn that from Star Wars?
Okay, maybe not all, but like there's stuff on Netflix that my kids found, and it's like, oh, this is literally just a vehicle for toys. Like Super Wings on Netflix. I don't know if you know what that is. It's literally just they introduce a new character like every other show, and they're like vehicles. And obviously, then you can go buy the plastic equivalent and fly them around your house.
Yeah, that's why we lost our Saturday morning cartoons, because they passed some law saying that that's essentially like Transformers and G.I. Joe was a vehicle to sell a new toy, because that's why they'd have like a new character on every week.
Damn it. But those were at least good. This stuff is, oh my gosh.
Yeah, did you say they passed a law that's saying that that's why we can't have Saturday morning cartoons?
Well, essentially,
I was like, did I misunderstand that?
Yeah, it had something to do with like advertising and selling shit to children. It was like with like Saturday morning cartoons, and maybe it was like more around like cereal, but it was like cereal branding, brands and toys.
I was just gonna say like they can only have like 2 sugary cereal advertisements per 2-hour like session, like something like that. I could see that, but like them telling me that I can't buy my Domino Rally, how am I supposed to know it exists?
Right.
Personally, I was pissed when they stopped giving away free packs of cigarettes with my cereal.
Your Lucky Strikes with your box of
with my Lucky Charms.
Right.
Or ironically with your life cereal. I'll be here all episode.
Hey, Casey, so with reading Ready Player One, I got past the point where they found the whistle prize in the Captain Crunch. Was that a real hack in the 80s? Like you could blow a whistle at a certain like sound into your phone and you got free long distance calls? Like I don't understand how that would work.
Redbox.
I have no idea.
Redbox.
I don't think so.
Yeah, Redbox, right?
Redbox, like the DVD machine?
No, Redbox, like you would take. So back in the day, you had like a handheld device that was called a phone dialer, and you could you can program phone numbers in it. So you
Yeah,
went to
yeah,
a
yeah.
payphone, you would play because it was all like dial tones.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and you play like a certain frequency or something.
You would play the dial tones into like a payphone, so you didn't have to like always try to punch it. It was like essentially like a phone book to
Oh,
use
sure,
like
sure. Yep.
over like payphones. Yeah, there was like a little like crystal or chip or something that you could put into those, and it would do. You could say what was so when you put like a quarter into those old phone booths. If you listen to it on the phone, it would give like a little dial tone for each quarter or coin that you put in. So you can set it to where it would make that quarter tone. So you would just do that, hold that up to a payphone, and do that quarter tone, and that's how you could get free phone calls.
Love it.
Dang.
Old school hacking.
Yeah.
Chad, I'm sorry.
And
I went to Casey over the hacking questions, but
Yeah,
when I brought up payphones, I knew I should have gone to you.
Right.
Yeah, I only know modern day hacking, my friend.
Yeah, I knew a couple old school hackers back in the day. So
damn, that's a side pod we'll have to talk about. That's interesting.
I think it was Redbox and like making, I think they're called beige boxes too, and that's where you just take like a old phone, and splice the wires on it and put like alligator clips on it, and like the old, I don't know if they have it anymore, but if you go like the old phone lines, like say a telephone pole in your backyard.
Oh yeah.
There's a box for a telephone. And if you open that up, there's like two like little prongs on there where you can hook that up to those prongs, and you can like make calls from like free calls using that too.
Well, that was for like technicians to be able to make
Yep.
calls while working on shit. So they had like devices to plug into it, but then this was like the duct tape hack.
Yeah, like
Yep.
I'm pretty sure I've seen that happen in like old or like 80s
Yeah,
movies,
yeah,
like
yeah.
Flight of the Navigator or something had that in there.
Yeah.
That's not true. They just had spaceships and dogs.
Yes,
catching
they were
frisbees.
called. I had to look it up quick. They were called red boxes. Yeah.
Do you think the DVD machines were a nod to that?
I don't know.
Or were they just lazy and they literally painted their machines red and called them red boxes?
Right. Whatever. It was like, this is the cheapest paint we could find. It's this color red. So
Isn't that why they paint barns red? Because it's the cheapest?
is it?
I don't know. I thought that was the case.
That
That's a
could be.
fun
Red
fact.
is a bitch to paint over too, so I wonder if that wasn't part of it. Like it just lasts longer. You know, you only have to
Oh,
buy
sure.
it once.
Buy it for life.
That's why my nickname
James,
is
you're
Red
reading
Box.
Ready Player One.
Oh, sorry.
No, you're 3 chapters in. What else are you doing?
I'm 3 levels in.
Oh,
Yeah, in the book where I'm assuming 3 levels because I only have, it feels like 50 to 75 pages left. It's I'm really enjoying it. It is very different. I'm actually curious, Casey, if you remember the book very well. Like, I feel like they could have made this movie in a reverse Marvel Chris Hemsworth fashion. The way I'd explain it is, in the beginning of the book, I think that the main guy, Wade, could be Fat Thor. And then
Yes.
towards the middle, as he is like, can't get into the Oasis unless he does his workout regimen, like he made that happen. And then all of a sudden, like, we think he's just depressed and hasn't seen the sunlight, which is true. But then all of a sudden they pan out and now he's like Fit Thor. And you're like, what in the hell?
that was actually one of my criticisms with the movie. Is that was actually a pretty interesting and kind of important detail about him as a person and how he evolved. Was like how he was just kind of a slothy dude for a bit, and then picked himself up and figured it out.
Yeah, 100%.
I don't know. I was very much anti-movie, but it's because I read the book first.
100%. So, like, I've seen the movie first, clearly, and it's very entertaining to me. But reading this book, it's entertaining. I want somebody to redo it and try their own version. And I don't know, it's been at least over a year, so I'm pretty sure they can do it, like most other franchises in this business.
Well, I feel like they skipped over all like the puzzles and like the intricacies behind those challenges.
Yeah.
Those were the most interesting part to me, but the movie felt like a mad dash to the final battle.
Yeah.
Maybe it
And
needs to be a 10 episode miniseries.
I think that'd be
There you
sweet.
go.
I mean, a lot of it is inner dialogue, so it reminds me in the sense of Fight Club, where it's just all this inner monologue of him explaining and thinking to himself, and then there are scenes with other characters, of course. But a big part, I mean, I'd say 90% of the book is just Wade describing what he's seeing. And so, like, I don't know, like, I think it's very doable, but I think it'd be interesting. I'd be excited to see that remake. if it ever came to light. Otherwise, I've been, I finished The Good Place, season 4, I believe was the last one on Netflix and final. So I don't know, that one's entertaining. If you guys just need a throwaway comedy that's 20 minutes before bed, I do recommend it. It's dry, but it's got some good lines in it.
All
I
right.
thought I heard the last season got not heavy, but like pretty good. Like there's a lot of good like feel goods, and I don't know, like it came full circle pretty well.
I think they wrapped it
I don't
up.
know, the internet made me think it was a good ending.
Yeah, I think they wrapped it up nicely. Like, it actually made me question if it was going to be the last episode or not. Like, I'm like, oh, they could.
Oh, sure.
Like, it's like almost like, hey, they solved this problem that was still an issue in season 3. Now what? But no, I think they did wrap it up quite nicely. So,
All right.
Casey, what are you doing?
Yeah, I think last time we potted, I was in the middle of Star Wars Fallen Order. I finished that. I thought the ending was pretty sweet. I'm not that great at video games. I had to crank the difficulty down for the last boss fight because I spent an hour losing over and over and over again, so that was awful. But the payoff was worth it. I thought the ending was sweet. I've since started The Witcher 3. I spent probably 3 of my play sessions already just going completely wily and doing side quest shit, and it like burned me out almost. But I've since already switched back to the main quest line, and I'm enjoying it again. So I think I'm gonna follow the main quest line and just kind of enjoy the story before getting too sidetracky. But in terms of entertainment, my wife and I did start and finish The Queen's Gambit, and I thought that was fantastic. I don't know who's seen it and who hasn't. I don't want to spoil anything, but I thought the last episode was just fantastic. I just loved the last episode. It was such a good ending. I don't want to give any more adjectives because other adjectives might give it away, but the show was funny. It was heartfelt. It was, it was just great. I thought it was great.
I just listened to a Star Talk episode, the most recent, I think, maybe, or a couple episodes ago with Neil deGrasse Tyson. I don't know if you ever listened to that, but they had an episode about like game theory and gambits, and they had a couple different like chess masters on there, and they referenced this Netflix show, Queen's Gambit, and they're saying how a lot of that, which is in the show, is like pretty true to form. So they said some things, but sounds like
and chess is such a mind-boggling game, and the way they present it, I mean, the main character is this child chess prodigy, and her whole thing is she, as a kid, and this isn't really a spoiler, but when she's a kid, she's like an orphan, right, learning how to play chess as a 6-year-old or something. And this is back in the day where they gave these kids some sort of they call them tranquilizers in the show, but it's some sort of either an amphetamine or I don't know, something to help them sleep. And one of the other orphans tells her, yo, don't take it, because they give them to him in the morning. She's like, put it in your pocket and then take it at night because it'll like help you sleep. Well, she takes it and starts like hallucinating chessboards, right? And so she learns to like do all the moves in her head, and that's how she gets so good, because she can like play through. And that's the whole point of chess, right? You have to think 30 moves forward, and each move, could have any other counter moves from your opponent. So it's like playing through all the possibilities, and that's, my brain would never, ever be able to like actually do hardcore chess to try to like plan that many moves ahead. It's crazy.
No. Yeah, I have terrible end game when it comes to chess.
Yeah, and she's like, the whole movie, she's like studying these books, and they're like, there's novels and novels and books on like theory and like different strategies and moves, and it's opening moves, mid game moves, end game like strategies, and it's crazy. There's the whole world that revolves around it is just kind of nuts. So I would recommend it if you haven't watched it. It's only 7 episodes. I think the first one and the last one are like an hour 15, but they're only 45 for the other ones.
Isn't that the same main character from the Vivitch?
Yes.
Oh, yes. Yeah,
Anna,
it is.
Anna something Joy, I think.
Anna Taylor.
And, Anna Taylor-Joy.
Yeah.
And she's phenomenal. Like she plays this character so well. She acts these like subtle, just facial expressions will send you laughing. It's just the way she does everything it's phenomenal. I like the show a lot.
I was just going to say, she might have the deepest eyes of any actress in Hollywood. It's phenomenal stuff she does with her expressions.
I don't know if you guys have seen it, but
no,
it's a
I
really
haven't.
good.
Is she the main character though? I've like read about it.
Yeah, she's one of the main characters. What's the goat's name again? Black Charlie or something?
Black
Philip. I like Black Charlie.
Black Philip.
Sabbath. Black Sabbath.
All right, we know Jamie's been watching Survivor, so I'll let you know what I've been doing.
Stop it. Oh, no, I haven't subscribed to All Access yet. I will say I've been neglecting my Mando duties in favor of a Cobra Kai, Mr. Mercedes, and Ink Master. And I think that if there were any YouTube channel to get me to like watch every day, I don't watch YouTube channels every day. I'm different from my generation in that way. But I think it would be a tattoo artist just, streaming their tattoos. Someone has to do this, right, Casey? This is a thing.
Like live streaming tattoos, right? Maybe.
Yeah. Okay,
maybe.
Because that would suck me right in.
No, see, maybe. You say that, but they're long. You watch these shows, and they're very much chopped and edited. It's a long, laborious, boring-ass process, to be honest with you. So it'd only be good.
That's a great point.
It would only be good if the artist themselves was really interesting and like could strike up good conversation. But man, there was a lot of times where, me and my artist would just kind of chill and just let him do his work. He's concentrating. It's really not that entertaining.
True.
I'm sure you guys are thinking of like great and excellent tattoo artists, but there should be one where it's like a live cam and like some shitty tattoo parlor where it's like you have the book of like, hey, I want to pick out a tattoo. This one is like all tigers and tribal tats, so
take your pick. They have a dartboard where you just throw a dart and that's what you get.
Yeah. This one's dolphins and this one's 5-point stars. This one's a little halo, and if you do this one, you can get a free belly button.
Discounts for less colors and straight lines.
Right.
But I guess not straight lines. Straight lines are hard.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, I'll watch that show.
For me, what have I been doing? Casey, I've have not gotten much further in Fallen Order.
I'm not mad. I'm just disappointed.
I'm like the Jamie to you, Jamie's Mando to, you're the Chad and I'm the Jamie.
Yeah, we can't talk about it anymore. I'm pissed.
No. I'm
gonna call you Chamey.
But I've actually, I've been playing Jurassic Park or Lego Jurassic World with my son.
That's a fun game.
Yeah, and he's really good at it. It's kind of crazy.
It's the day I dread when I
gamer on your hands.
When your kid beats you at video games.
Yeah, when like my son can like smash me at 2K or FIFA or one of the games that I think I'm decent at.
Right. No, I've been doing a little bit of that. And haven't been watching a whole lot. Been trying to watch the most recent season of Fargo, which is pretty damn good. Chris Rock is in it. Yeah. And each episode is, I think each episode is like an hour and 15 minutes. So hour 20 minutes, but
is that why
that's really good.
More Chris Rock lately? I feel like on Today's Show or just other things.
Yeah, I think he just put out a new stand-up too. I think
maybe that's what it is.
Maybe I'm just making that, but
I heard him talking about.
He's really good in that.
I heard him talking about COVID, and he was talking like I can't remember who was interviewing him, but they're like, Chris, I know you've been very cautious with COVID and social distancing. Like, how do you feel about the vaccine and how people should take it? And he goes, look, you do what you want. But my thought is people are like, I don't know what's in the vaccine. But he's like, but guess what? I don't know what's inside potato chips. I'm still going to put them in my body. Like, he's like, and then it was like, and I don't know how to fly a plane, but I'm still going to go do this. Like, I don't know. It was like, his examples were so like, I don't know, it made sense to children. Like, yes, take the vaccine. Like,
right.
I don't know. It was awesome. It was pretty good. And I'm like, you go, Chris.
I love it when people can make like super simple like comparisons like that. Yeah. That are kind of fun. It's just like, man, I'm not.
He's like, when you pull up to I think he made it like also, he's like, when you pull up to McDonald's and you order a Big Mac, are you like asking, can I know what's in the secret sauce?
Right. Right.
I understand the 2 beef patties, but what special sauce is it? I don't know. It's pretty funny.
All right. Now on to the topic of the week. This week's episode, we're covering the movie Beetlejuice. It came out in the year 1988, directed by Tim Burton. This was my pick. And I wanted to pick this movie. I don't know. I think this is a pretty like unique movie, especially coming from Tim Burton. I feel like at this time there wasn't really a whole lot of this. I really like Tim Burton's kind of aesthetic and style that he puts in, especially in his early films. I really like how this kind of turns the haunted house movie trope on its head. And I just love the Deo and scenes and like the shake, shake, shake Sonora, just like the music at the end into Calypso music. So it's always kind of good memories to go at. And Michael Keaton fucking
So good.
I think is awesome in this movie. so good. So yeah.
I was trying to look up like with Keaton, like how many, like what movies like did we really know with Keaton in it before this?
Mr. Mom?
That was the only one I could think of, and that was probably it when I looked it up on IMDb. I was like, okay, so this was just right before Batman, and then clearly after Batman, there was no going back. Everybody knew Keaton. But right. Mr. Mom, and I mean, he probably was still a household name to, like, you know, people, I don't know, 10 years older than us, but I feel like until, like, the Beetlejuice Batman era, like, that's when all of a sudden, like, I knew who he was, what his name was.
He's
and
Batman.
Yeah, and Winona Ryder, like I was like, holy crap, she looks super young in this, and that was, I'm like, this has to be pre-Heathers, but I'm like, no, because this is 88, but no, Heathers was just like, I think it was the next year, 89.
Year after, yeah.
And
which is, yeah.
No, and my wife is super into Schitt's Creek, so seeing Catherine O'Hara in everything now is also super entertaining, because we actually, for Christmas, just rewatched, I think, Home Alone 2. That was our Christmas movie that we watched, so seeing her pop up everywhere now after getting into Schitt's Creek.
I think I talked about this before, but my wife tried watching Schitt's Creek with me, and she just like could not stand Catherine O'Hara's like. She's like, "What is that accent?"
It's so good.
I just can't.
It's so
like
good.
I'm like, the more you just like accept what this is, then you get on board. It's fine. But like, she's just like, no, I can't. Just like my sister can't watch It's Always Sunny because she can't get past Charlie's like. When did I put on Green Man? Like she can't get past his whiny voice, and I'm like, but it's so good.
Fad. It's just so unique and fantastic.
Yeah.
What she says, like the babies.
Alexis.
Oh, you have a.
Think of the babies. So, is this best Burton movie? You think?
Oh, Pee-wee's Big Adventure is pretty high on my list.
For best Burton
Yeah,
movie?
what's your favorite Burton movie?
I'm a lone wolf here. I really like Sleepy Hollow.
Wow.
That's great. I'm with you, James. Mm-hmm. I love that movie.
Thanks, guys.
Did that come out?
Group.
Did that come out after what was it, Charlie and the Chocolate Factory?
Yeah, it was before it.
Okay.
It's probably, I bet Sleepy Hollow is the last one, because he did Sleepy Hollow, and I think the next one might have been Sweeney Todd, maybe, and then that's when he jumped the shark.
I don't know. I think, this is before Sweeney Todd. It might not be the best, but I think my favorite is Big Fish. I really, really like that movie.
Oh yeah, that is really, really good.
But that's like my wheelhouse of type of movie, like a feel-goody type of movie, but that's a little weird, a little whimsical.
Oh, here you go, guys. Yeah. Check this out. Here's some ordering for you. Do you want to just go through the list of all of them, or do you want to go through? Here, just check this out. Beetlejuice. I was like, it'll be faster if I just do this. so Pee-wee's Big Adventure, Beetlejuice, Batman, Edward Scissorhands, Batman Returns, Ed Wood, Mars Attacks.
I love Mars Attacks.
Sleepy Hollow. I forgot all about this. Planet of the Apes.
There's
Big Fish, Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, and then Corpse Bride, Sweeney Todd, Alice in Wonderland, Dark Shadows, Frankenweenie, Big Eyes, Miss Pettigrew's Home for the Peculiar Children, Dumbo, and soon to be coming, Beetlejuice 2.
Wow.
I don't think
that's
going to happen.
It just says in development.
Yeah.
I'm just glad it's not Beetlejuice Goes Hawaii.
Right?
Did anybody see Dumbo? I keep meaning to, and I haven't.
Negative.
9.
No, I just heard that was pretty bad.
Well, and
I did see though Miss Peregrine's the like 3 years before, and I thought it was going to be one of those, like new kid, not Harry Potter franchise things, but it was surprisingly a lot better than I was expecting. It's not a masterpiece, but there's some like legitimately cool like Guillermo del Toro kind of monsters in that movie. So,
well, I've never seen it. I want to get in on that now.
yeah,
You have to check that out. I feel like the tipping point for his films for me is like after, or what do you call it? Charlie and Chocolate Factory. Like that was his
last good one.
The sign of his.
I liked Charlie and the Chocolate
first
Factory.
bad one.
I thought it was all right, but I guess the other side of the hill, right, where he's maybe starting the decline, because I didn't really like Corpse Bride very much.
Yeah, I didn't like that one either. Movies just kind of feel like they get kind of boring. I don't know if things get kind of repetitive, or if I've just kind of lost interest in like seeing his films around that time. But
did you see Sweeney Todd?
I did
that
not.
one.
I love.
But that has
Johnny Depp was Sweeney Todd.
Johnny Depp?
If you don't like musicals, you won't like it. I had never seen Sweeney Todd or listened to it before that, but I was entertained enough. I think I've seen it more than once.
I'm with you, Casey. I was into Sweeney Todd, and musicals are 50-50 for me. So that one.
Yeah, I struggle with musicals.
But it's one of the darker movies of his because it is R. And there's obviously the whole point of Sweeney Todd is he murders people and makes food out of them. That's the whole story. Sorry to spoil it for you. He's a barber that murders people to give the humans to a mince pie maker, and then she makes her pies out of people.
Oh.
Yeah.
Soylent Green is
Kinda,
good.
yeah.
Does anyone else have like a real problem with the ending of Planet of the Apes? Like
when he shows up back on supposed Earth, and then it's like the apes are cops and stuff.
Yeah, that ending like actively makes me angry. Because I think he's just trying to be cheeky, but it doesn't make any sense because they're at the Lincoln Memorial, and you're like, oh, it's Earth. They landed back on Earth, but then the Statue of Lincoln is an ape, and then the cops show up and they're apes. So I'm confused. Like, are we on Earth? And they just changed all the statues to apes?
Like, it's like all the people just transformed into apes, but all of our architecture and technology are all the same.
Right, exactly.
Yeah, I'm with you. Hey, guys, we're only 9 years away because according to this, in 2029, an Air Force astronaut crash lands on a mysterious planet.
Ooh. No, I actively, I really didn't enjoy Planet of the Apes, so I kind of maybe blacked out and forgot that was the ending. But now that you're talking about it, I'm remembering it a little bit.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, I haven't seen that version, but I like the reboot that came out a few years after that.
I only saw the first one of the reboots.
Yeah, I only saw the first one, but I like it.
Yeah, the first one is good. The second one is actually really good, and the third one...
There was 3?
I think. Yeah, there's a third one. I can't remember. I think I don't remember who's all in each one of them because I'm getting confused. It's either like Woody Harrelson or Matthew McConaughey is all like the angry humans now.
Really? I just saw the one with Franco. Yeah. They could have ended it there and it would have been fine because that was a good ambiguous ending. So now that we discussed best Burtons, is this the best Michael Keaton movie?
I mean, he crushes
it.
Yeah. He pretty much like invented like the look of this character.
Oh yeah.
Because
he's his own.
Yeah, go ahead.
He had to be his own character actor for this. Like Keaton was his muse for a little bit, and then Johnny Depp showed up, right?
Yeah. I have a hard time. I struggle with Johnny Depp, but it seemed like I struggle with everyone. But yeah, like I think
it's just a struggle with
Michael Keaton. Like he went. I'm a super struggler. He went to like the costume and makeup design team. It was just like he was thinking of like this dead guy. He's got hair that's like like he stuck his finger into like a light socket and he looks dead. And he was like he came up with a lot of like the actual look of how he looks like, and he kind of just like showed up on set one day with that without like Tim Burton actually seeing him, and like
Just rolled with
he
it.
loved it. Like it wasn't like yeah.
The way he does his voice and just the dancing and everything else, like it's very clear, like he just is doing this character with his own direction, and then they go for it. I feel like
Yeah.
I was always curious with this one, like because I think growing up I always thought that Beetlejuice, kind of like with Edward Scissorhands, it's synonymous with Burton, and so I just assumed like he wrote this or helped write it, and that's not the case. It seems like it was another dude, the same guy that wrote Nightmare Before Christmas. But like that was like the only other main things.
Well, yeah, and I think
this guy
I think
he just like creepy stuff. I think he just Tales from the Crypt, Tales from the Dark Side. Like I don't know, he's got a couple other notes. But
when I thought I read the original script for this or the original story, he wasn't trying to just scare people. Like he was trying to murder everyone there, and he didn't want to just marry Winona Ryder. He wanted to rape her. Like it was a lot darker and gross. And then Tim Burton kind of took it, and like Tim Burton's whole shtick, right, is to do horror-looking movies that aren't really scary. Right, this wasn't scary.
Yeah, he's still Disney at heart.
Yeah, and I think it was a perfect
right.
mix.
Well, and I think that I heard something similar, Casey, and it makes so much more sense when you read it because I love this movie. It's great. It's so, like Chad said, unique, especially how it pictures the afterlife. But the third act is really like full kitchen sink. You know, a lot of the plot threads kind of don't make sense. And, you know, how can the Maitlands die if they're already dead? We already have that room of, you know, lost souls that moved on. So, like, it doesn't play by its own rules. So kind of reading that yeah, they had an original script that they kind of had to tweak made it make a lot more sense to me. Didn't ruin the movie by any means, but
I was doing my usual YouTube dive into stuff like this, and one of the analyses that I found that was interesting was the fact that only, how to explain this, like dead people can only interact with like people that want to see them, and it's because they were being like summoned them there against their will, and it was like an unnatural way to interact human and dead people, that they were like losing their essence. So they weren't dying as much as they just were like disappearing into nothingness. So like they were just being destroyed even.
Okay, that makes a lot more sense.
And I don't know, it's a theory. I don't know. Obviously, it wasn't canon or anything like that, but
right. But yeah, I mean, it's the best theory I got because, yeah, I mean, he does the seance and summons them, and you're like, well, wait, they're still in the house, which they're allowed to be in, but everyone can see them. But, you know, if you really want to, like Lydia, you can still see them. So, yeah, it's like, I don't understand why they're dying or aging.
At the end of the movie, I turned to my wife and I said, I just have more questions now, because you're right that the last act, they threw everything at him. Like he bangs the hammer and launches those two people up through the roof. Where did they go? Are they dead now? And like Beetlejuice gets eaten by a sandworm, but then he's in the lobby. So is he still okay? Like, do sandworms not actually kill you? I don't understand.
Well, and the sandworm comes into their world from the dimension that only the Maitlands can see. Like, what?
And how did she just wrangle
well, maybe
a
it's because of
sandworm?
Otho. I mean, Otho is like reading this shit like out of the book, and maybe that's like you get the spirit realm and like the real world are kind of combining. So you probably got some kind of like vortex or portals that like the sandworms coming through.
I don't know, Chad. Ortho can't even change a tire.
Well, that's the thing is they talk about Ortho not even able to change a tire, and then like he's reading just this thing just like a script, and he's like, "Oh, it's making all this happen." Like, man, he's got the power.
And who was that short little reverend dude that was going to marry Beetlejuice? Where the hell did he come from? And then where did he go?
I love that dude.
It's so great.
Tony Scott.
He just shows up, no explanation. He just comes through that gateway. Love that part.
It's Tony Scott. Right? Is that his name?
Know.
He was in Bad
director?
Santa?
What?
No.
Isn't Tony Scott a director? He did Top Gun?
Maybe.
No, dude, he was a big, gross-looking monster guy. He was like, you know what I'm saying? He was like the short little bald monster.
No, I know who you're talking about.
Or Tony Cox. That's who it was.
It's not Cox unless it tastes like Cox.
Anyway,
Dewey Cox.
do we?
What is that? Oh yeah, Walk Hard. So bad.
God,
Can
that
we talk
movie
about
was pretty
casting
bad.
for a sec?
Please.
So like,
Yeah.
well, I'm like, it's like looking back, I'm like, man, you think of Gina Davis and Alec Baldwin, and now in household names for the most part, but not then. I was kind of like, how did they get these people for this movie? It seems out of character, but like even like for the Michael Keaton, but that's the whole idea is all of them were relatively unknown actors. Like Alec Baldwin, this is like his second movie that wasn't a TV movie or something, and then it took him another 30 years to get back into comedy with 30 Rock, but it wasn't the heartthrob or whatnot. And then Gina Davis, it was like this, and then she like must have did well, and then got into a league of their own. But otherwise, she really wasn't well known, except for, well, I mean, I don't know. I think we saw her boobs in Tootsie, if I remember correctly.
Oh my gosh! So I was gonna Jeff
don't-
Jones, the dad, right? I was gonna call him out for being a good bad guy, even though he's not that bad in this. But he's the principal in Ferris Bueller.
The principal and Ferris Bueller.
But I'm looking at his
Yeah.
Wikipedia. He is from Minneapolis. He started at the Guthrie. That was where his
What?
career
Oh, really?
started. Yeah,
Oh,
small world.
and
Awesome.
Winona.
That is a fun
He
fact.
didn't he wasn't born or raised here, but that's where he became an actor first.
Yeah. Speaking of Winona, why do you hate Winona Ryder so much, Jamie?
I don't hate her, but I was
For being a thief.
I was met for being a thief. No,
Oh, wait,
I really
why
do think
are
that was
you?
part of it.
I wrote a song about like a rap about Winona Ryder.
Can you play it right now live on the pod? I want to hear it.
No, something like Winona Ryder
Yeah, what
arrested with
rhymed?
10 grand of clothes and cider or something like that.
forgot all about
Needed
that.
money for a jug habit or something. I don't know.
I don't care what you think. Whatever she did to make you angry, she had to have redeemed herself with Stranger Things. I'm such a Stranger Things fanboy.
Oh, totally. I was never her biggest fan, and then when I saw she was in that show, I was like, God damn it! And then, yeah, first episode, I was eating my words because she's phenomenal as a Joyce Byers. But I was thinking about it. I always thought she was overrated, and people just seem to love her. She's very good in Beetlejuice. I love her in Beetlejuice, and I love her in Stranger Things.
Mr.
but-
Deeds. Sorry, just throwing a stupid Adam Sandler movie up.
Take it or leave it. She's better than Adam Sandler in that movie. So
He must have half monkey blood inside him or something. Sorry, that movie is like, it's got all these one-liners, and
It's a really great bad movie.
It is a terrible bad. I mean, it's a great bad movie.
Doesn't he
yes,
have a drinking
100%.
fountain with like tropical punch? But a
I think so.
Tahitian
Yes!
treat, maybe even.
Hawaiian punch or Tahitian
Oh my
treat.
God.
Crazy Eyes, like, what are you doing in there, Crazy Eyes? There was a wizard trying to cast a spell on
Oh
me.
my
I don't know.
goodness.
Maybe he was just waving.
So dumb. So dumb. I love it.
But I think this speaks more about me than Winona Ryder. You know what it was though? The more I thought about it, I was like, oh my God, I bet it was The Crucible. I bet did you guys have to watch that one in school?
9.
No.
Oh, okay. Well then I won't ruin it because it's a really good play/movie. But something happens in The Crucible that her character
I'm really excited about
brings
him not ruining it for us. Is The Crucible your next pick, Jamie?
It's not.
What's the statute of limitations on spoilers? That's a movie from 96.
I know. See, I was gonna go for it, but then I realized I spoil a lot of things for people who are like generally really good about leaving stuff unspoiled for me. So,
Does she see dead people?
She does not see dead people.
Okay.
But she does something in that movie that I probably saw it as a younger person and had like a negative association with her from that. So.
Does she shoot ping pongs from her?
Nah, bro, it's about witches.
Oh, jeez.
Salem witch trial. Come on.
Okay. Wasn't that her? Wasn't that her in the South Park movie?
Oh yeah,
it was
maybe.
like, oh yeah, she went to the like whatever RTO show or whatever the show they went to see the army guys, and she's like, that's my amazing ping pong ball trick. Yeah. God, I forgot all about that. USO show.
Yes, yeah.
When this movie started, when I pressed play, it totally brought me back to like when I first watched and loved this movie because of the music. I forgot all about Danny Elfman's like Beetlejuice theme music and such. And like I was like, man, Danny Elfman, that guy has a lot of cool like theme songs like going on. I mean, he did do the Tim Burton Batman and all that, but he also did Dick Tracy and Edward Scissorhands and well, pretty much everything that's Tim Burton. But yeah, I don't know. It's just like, God, he's got some good stuff.
Yes, agree. Dun it. Yeah, the music. I don't really like talking about favorite scenes at all, but like for me, like one of the like the most memorable scenes in this film has to be like the Day-O scene where they're trying to scare the family out of the house. I mean that one almost like it just makes my this one kind of makes me happy. You know, like that, and like the ending of the movie is always kind of fun where they're singing, but
it almost makes you want to dance, Chad.
Yes, I can't dance in my town though.
Okay, Kevin Bacon.
So is the ending a little twisted though? Are they basically admitting that her parents are awful and she's going to just be raised by ghosts?
That's what I kind of gathered, and they decide. But also, why did the parents just decide to live there still?
Because the ghosts save them, and they're nice, and Lydia likes them, and then they don't have to be. They can be absent parents. It's like a happy ending, but kind of weird. But I liked it.
Yeah, and she kind of like ditched her identity and is like the girls' school. I wouldn't say preppy, but we're getting there.
I think that's just to show that like her sad, gothic attitude was a longing for connection and a intense loneliness, and she got what she needed from her new ghastly parents, and so she could actually be a real, teenage girl and be happy and enjoy life.
I think that tracks. Yeah.
And hold on, one more thing on the ending. Why the fuck? Yeah. Why did those? Why the football players? Why did they have to come be backup dancers?
Why did they have to show up and dance on? I was wondering the same thing on the stairs.
I mean, I loved it, but why?
Well,
at this point, they were probably like, "Why not?"
Right.
Actually, my favorite ghost was probably the one like that was like driven over by a car or whatever. Because if you guys didn't notice, it was like Mr. Withers from Wayne's World.
Was it
the one that owned the haunted amusement park?
Oh,
the one that came up was like number 46, and then like slides.
Yeah,
down.
when he's like hanging because he's flat.
Yeah,
I don't know about you, but I'm feeling a little flat.
Yeah, yeah, that was that guy.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, let's talk about that. I thought that whole scene, or not even the scene, but all of the like afterlife stuff once they went through the brick wall or whatever, it was awesome. Like all the way that they showed all the dead people, and we've talked about practical effects a lot in this, but how everything was just like, obviously there's no CGI or anything. This is all costumes and makeup and effects and set design. And it was brilliant. I thought all of the sets looked amazing. All that stuff I thought was fantastic.
Oh yeah. He's like, I'm trying to quit. Yeah, with lost it, edit me out. I was gonna say something with the smoking guy or just all the different characters that were in there. I think it was just interesting. The way they died is a representation of who they were going to be in there. So since those guys, I just thought it was weird. I'm like, so shouldn't the Maitlands just always be wet? Like just like leaking because they drowned? And also, did you see them drown? Like their windows were open. They were telling the dog not to move. They waved their hands out the window and fell into like a 3-foot thing of water. I'm so confused on how they should survive.
Yeah, back to their death, I thought and that's a kind of a testament to this whole movie, right? That Burton treats scary things with an element of like humor or whimsy. Just the fact that the stupid dog was enough to balance the car and then it moves away and then it falls in is just a funny little touch to, oh, you're about to die and it's the dog's fault.
I thought that was incredible. Like, I noticed the dog on there, like, because the board is waving up and down, up and down, up and down, and like the dog's standing there. I'm like, that's a real dog. Like, I wasn't seeing there. I was like, kudos to that pup.
I kind of like too how like dying is like, like first day on the job.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Like you get like
The
your
handbook.
employee handbook.
And why is the handbook available to the living? That's the weird part. But
yeah.
what? Nothing makes sense. They're dead. It is what it is. Oh, and the when they're sleeping in, they like wake up and Gina Davis is actually hovering. I thought that was a really funny little touch as well.
Yeah. They wake up. Clip.
Yeah. I didn't even realize that.
Yeah, she was
I
like
didn't pick up on that,
floating.
now you say that.
And then when she woke up, she fell, and it's a funny little slapstick.
I thought she just got pushed off the bed, but that's awesome. Deo. So we talked about favorite Burton films. Tipping Point.
Okay, so Casey, based on your questions for like the ending of the movie, so what do you think the sequel is going to be about?
Oh man, I don't even know. The only way that I think it would work is if it's just Beetlejuice in a new scenario. Like, I don't think they can try to bring the Maitlands back in. I think it would have to just be, and it would be really funny if it started with him finally getting his number called because he had that super long number. It would be like,
the 9 million, whatever.
Yeah, like
that would be a really funny.
Still has
start.
the small head.
Yeah, exactly.
Right, where he finally gets called in and like they talk to him and like they want to get rid of him, but they're like, we actually need you to do something. Yeah.
So I guess would he be the main character then? Because he's really not the main character in this.
No, he's not. I think he actually works best though, and like that, like the limited amount of time that he's in the film. Because like when he comes in, he's like really hot. He like kind of steals the show. He's the ghost of the most.
I did pause when he first showed up, like big in the movie, and like where it's like, okay, he's here, he's ready to do some things, and it was like 45 minutes in. You're not right. I mean, you're right. He's only a bit part, but like, he crushes the parts he's on.
Who is the antagonist of this film?
Otho.
Is he though?
Or whatever his name is. Yeah.
Is it Otho? Is it the family? Is it? I mean, it's not really Beetlejuice. He's kind of like a secondary antagonist.
I do think it is Otho, because when he first shows up, they're going through the house and he whips out the cans of spray paint. And was this a thing they did in the 80s? Because I'm like, all right, what is their plan here? And he just...
I think it's because everything is wallpaper, and so instead of painting over it, they knew they would have to pull it off anyways. So maybe that's how they did it back in the day when you were renovating. If you were going to change wallpaper, you could just paint on it to indicate what you're changing.
It must be. Yeah, he has that air of, superiority, but then, they're always joking about how he can't change a tire, actually do anything. So... yeah, and he almost gets the Maitlands into second death and, steals the Book of the Dead. So
I can buy that. I can buy Otho. Chad, you mentioned it earlier too, and I thought it was interesting because they, in one of the analyses that I was watching, said something almost identical, that you liked how it kind of flipped the haunted house trope on its head. And one of the comments they made that I thought was really funny, it's that the ghosts aren't the ones doing the haunting; they're actually being haunted by the living.
But
which I think is just a hilarious way to do it, and I think that's why it works so well.
Yeah, good point.
Well, isn't that so? What you're saying is that what was it, 2000 or 1999 movie, The Others, was real, like it was the reverse of Beetlejuice. Anybody see that movie, or am I just talking?
Well, isn't the reverse of Beetlejuice just any old haunted house story? Like all the rest of them.
Yeah, that makes more sense. You're right. So sorry, the movie The Others. Did anybody see that? The Others with Nicole Kidman?
I did. That's a good movie.
Well, I don't want to ruin a 1990 movie, but that was kind of the premise at the end, was just like that, like, spoiler, these guys were dead, and like the whole time, like they're thinking they're getting haunted, but in reality it's the living trying to get the ghosts out of their house.
Oh, funny. Simpsons did it. By
Simpsons
that I mean
have done everything. Come on.
I mean that mostly as Beetlejuice did it.
Oh, I was just gonna say, I'm like, that should be one of our segments. Is like, did this happen on The Simpsons?
Yeah, right.
Like this movie?
Shoot, they predicted the new Civil War that's happening right now, right?
I was gonna say, did they predict?
Sorry.
That's just been like that's like a meme
It
now. Like
is.
people are just like throwing clips of there's like random cutouts of like Simpsons characters to be like, oh, the Simpsons predicted it.
Well, they predicted Trump's presidency too. They're just
Yeah.
crazy crystal ball shit.
Oh, we could Kevin Bacon
and-
The Simpsons. Weren't we doing 6 Degrees of Kevin Bacon as a segment?
For this movie, that's easy. Alec Baldwin. It's like Much Ado About Nothing or something like that.
Oh, so 1 degree.
About last night. I did it.
There we go. We did it. James did it. I was going Simpsons, who was no.
Oh, we were doing Simpsons. Sorry.
Nope. I had it, then I lost it. I was mixing up Simpsons and Rugrats. Never mind.
Which is a common mix-up.
Whoa.
Wait.
I know.
What?
I know. No, because I was gonna go Bart Simpson, but I was actually thinking Connie Pickles, who's Pee-wee's girlfriend in Pee-wee's Big Adventure, directed by Tim Burton, who directed Beetlejuice. But that's actually wrong. So
You can just go Danny Elfman, composer. Boom, done. And then She's Having My Baby. Alec Baldwin, Kevin Bacon, done.
we won the Kevin Bacon game.
We didn't. We haven't talked yet about numbers, box office reviews and whatnot. Because I'm just looking through the doc here, and it's actually what $15 million budget, but making $74 million domestic. It's pretty baller.
That's awesome. I was just trying to think. I'm like, in order for Burton to grab this movie and then do it the way he wanted, like it had to have been cheap.
Well, it's all stop
Like,
motion
'cause, like,
and hand modeled.
Who was taking? And like, who was taking? I guess Pee-wee's Big Adventure probably did quite well because Pee-wee was huge when that came out. So
Pee-wee's
like, I have to assume
Playhouse.
that did well for him. But just like getting the script and then what he wanted to do with it, they're like, sure, you can do whatever, but here's your budget. And he's like, done. And he probably did all the claymation stuff himself.
And then back.
Yeah, Pee-wee made $34 million. Didn't crush it, but didn't go broke either.
What about the home video VHS copies? How much did that? No, I'm just kidding.
A ton. Well, and you bring up the claymation, I think, not to skew away from numbers already, but that I think was one of my favorite parts of the movie. And I think had they made this now, and that's, you know what, that might be what bombs and tanks Beetlejuice 2 is. I think,
Is the CGI.
yeah, I think if that was CGI, it would have been awful. I think the fact that it was, you know, claymation, kind of stop motion, added to kind of the element of what you enjoy with it.
Yeah, now you bring that up, it kind of takes me back to something I want to mention too. It's like I kind of like how Delia's character is like this. She's kind of like the starving artist. Like she's so thinks her work is so important, but like everyone just kind of thinks it's garbage. And the the guy that comes and says that he's been working with Delia for whatever, been
His
losing money on
agent or
Delia,
whatever,
like
Yeah, like her
her
agent or
agent,
whatever.
yeah. And then it like traps. I don't know. I just kind of love that whole like
And objectively,
shitty
they
work
were
and-
bad. They were ugly.
yeah.
Yeah.
And like when they're moving into like the she's like that's like a piece of art. That's like art that I made, and she's like put it on the table and just fucking chucks it on
Throws
the
it
table.
on there. Yeah. I laughed pretty good at that part.
And speaking of ugly too, the way that they, oh my goodness, and I'm not an interior designer by any means, but the way they redid the house was just, I did not enjoy any of and I think clearly that was the whole point, but the whole way that they designed it with their whole, like, I don't even know what that type of style is, but it was just bad, which I think was to add to the whole, you know, Alec Baldwin and Gina Davis being really upset coming back and seeing their whole house just redone, but they ruined a nice old farmhouse.
Sounds like today. I like when they come in, they're making an offer for $260,000.
Like, what, for Connecticut?
Right?
You know, or
It'd be like $1.5 million house
That's
today.
a gorgeous
Well, that's all I know
house.
about that.
Yeah.
I don't know about the relationship then. Like, so because in the beginning, that lady lives in town, and the realtor or whatever is like, "What are you doing sending pictures of my house to New York?"
Right.
and then stalking them at 6 a.m. I'm just so confused by that whole relationship. No, there should be a family in this giant ass house. What do you care? We live on the hill.
Must be like a religious thing.
I think there's like a throwaway line though that she is family or something. The realtor.
I think
'Cause
she
I
meant
kinda
that as
caught it
they're really
this time.
close.
Okay. But there is that line in there
Yeah.
though, right,
Yeah,
Casey?
when
Like there's
I think when she meets Lydia, she goes, "We're family," and then she's like, "If you ever need help to decorate, and let me know." As they're like complaining about the decorations.
okay. So just uncomfortable realtor
I
situation.
mean, small town, too close of a relationship.
Yeah,
True.
everyone knows everybody too much.
True. Probably the
You
only
never know.
house in town up for sale, which is why she's trying to get done.
And the biggest house in town, so everyone always talks about it.
On the biggest hill in town, so everyone can see it from
Right.
everywhere.
See it all the time. Yeah, talking about reviews. So like Rotten Tomatoes, critic score is 85%, 82% audience score. IMDb average 7.5 and Metacritic was 70. Have you all this? Has everyone seen this movie before watching it for this pod? Yep. Is this what would you like rate this of like on a scale of 1 to 5 or your letterbox or overall feelings about this film?
I'd give it a 3 now, I think. I think I enjoyed it more when I was younger, I guess. But, I mean, it's fun for me. It's not the best, but it's a lot of fun.
I think I'd give it a 4, maybe. I mean, I don't want to even stretch and say 4.5, but I think for what it is, that's kind of why I brought it up earlier in the pod, was that I think it is, in my opinion, one of Burton's best. It's just... it catches me in all the right places. It flips horror on its head, and especially not being a big horror fan, to kind of have it be those elements of horror and scary movies and death, but have it be kind of fun and silly at the same time. And then to throw on top of that, the fact that it isn't CGI, all the effects and the design and the sets were all like created for real. I don't know. I think it's for what it is, it's fantastic. I think it holds up. I chuckled and enjoyed every minute of it. Yeah, I'd give it at least a 4.
So I gave it a 4 as well. I was watching it. Michael Keaton's incredible, just like completely unchained, unleashed. He's phenomenal. The first half of the movie, I was like, oh yeah, this is a 5. Like I'm adding it to my favorite lists or my favorite films of all time list on Letterboxd. And then, like I said before, the third act is just kind of a little too much of a jumble for me, where some things don't make sense, and it sticks the landing, but only on one foot, and it's a little wobbly. So it went from a solid 5 down to a 4 after the third act for me.
Yeah, I was kind of tearing for like 3.5 and 4. But yeah, Michael Keaton just kills it. That's like the favorite, like that, and like the music. I just when this movie ends, I just have like a really good feeling. Kind of makes me happy, and yes, James, it makes me want to dance. But
Yes.
yeah. But yeah, just like the different, like it's just like that the music. It's not like it's not one of those movies where I could recommend where it's like a blow you away movie, but it's got good comedy in it. It's not like a lot of like laugh out loud stuff, but there's a lot of good chuckles in it. It's kind of some like a lot of good one-liners and just some like really odd stuff that kind of oddly all fits together, and just kind of, and like the death and afterlife stuff, and just the kind of plays on that, and is just kind of really funny, and it was really fun to kind of go back and watch this.
I guess I'm a huge fan of originality in the sense that it's not obviously it was old enough where it wasn't a reboot of anything, but it wasn't bore from another series. It's a standalone one-off movie that tells its story, does it well, wraps it up, doesn't set itself up for a sequel. I don't know why they're talking about another one. I guess it kind of does with him in the waiting room. But I don't think he did that with the intention of setting it up for a sequel, and it almost feels like most movies nowadays, unless, they have some climax and ultimate resolution ending that doesn't open itself up for a sequel, feels like everyone's, fishing for that second movie.
Jamie, I think I got something for you. All right. So Otho was a voice in the cartoon show Real Monsters. And the creator of that show created Rugrats. There's your 6 degrees of Rugrats.
Kevin Bacon.
Which character was he, though?
Thank you, James.
in what?
Real Monsters.
Real Monsters. Guard Monster.
No idea.
No idea, but Otho was the voice of the mayor in Nightmare Before Christmas. Jack, where are
really?
you?
There it is.
I love the mayor. Speaking of Tim Burton's Nightmare Before Christmas, he really didn't have a whole lot of input on that film.
Yeah, he wasn't. Well, he
He was-
just created the characters and the storyline, didn't he?
Yeah, but then it was all written by the guy that wrote Beetlejuice.
Right. Yep.
Yeah.
And then one thing I didn't know until like I think maybe it was this year I figured I found that out. The guy that voiced Jack Skellington and then the guy that sung Jack Skellington were two different dudes because the guy that sang all of Jack's parts was composer Danny Elfman.
Yeah.
Which is like I'm like, oh, like because as I'm thinking of Jack talking and Eureka and then singing and I'm like, man, that's pretty spot on in my head.
Yeah,
Maybe
there's
I
not.
would notice now.
I didn't know that there's two differences because like the voice and the singing don't sound that far off. But
No, not at all. So
that's
The
interesting.
voice is
Fun.
Chris Sarandon, old Humperdinck himself.
oh,
Humperdinkle,
Humperdinck,
Tinkle Tinkle.
Princess Bride.
he's never seen Princess Bride.
Oh,
Yes,
there
I
it
have.
is.
Yes,
I was just waiting.
Fright
I still
Night,
have,
Child's
uh,
Play. Pick your favorite.
I have an old Starlog magazine from 1988 that has "They Live" story in it and a little blurb about Princess Bride. So
What is Starlog magazine?
it's like an old like science fiction magazine. Like I think on the cover is like Alien Nation.
Mm, yes.
Alien Nation.
Gee. For some reason, your sounded so sad.
Oh. No, I'm reading. Can I just give it to Gene Siskel really quick? This is what made me sad. I was looking
Aw.
at the Rotten Tomatoes critic reviews, and this just kind of tells me that like anyone can be a movie critic. So Gene Siskel says, an overly ambitious special effects comedy obviously influenced by the success of Ghostbusters. I don't see how any of that's true.
Yeah. Yikes.
I mean,
Ouch.
effects in the sense that they were practical special effects, I suppose.
Yeah, but otherwise, I see no parallels to Ghostbusters. I don't
No,
know.
I never
Except
once
that
thought
there's-
Ghostbusters for any of this.
No,
there's
except that
ghosts.
there's ghost in it.
Yeah,
Well,
right. There's your
Sheep
parallel.
ghosts. I did like actually. Speaking of the sheep ghost, like when one of the writers like in her room, she's like, "Come on, you guys, I'm a child," like some like having sex kind of thing in there. And
Oh,
then,
yeah.
like as a kid, I never occurred to me like I'm like, "Come on, you guys," and that she was just like, be quiet. I'm trying to sleep. And then I'm watching this. I'm going, yeah, those groans are actually like. Then it was like they tried like moaning forcefully to make it sound like that. Like I don't know. It was just I thought that part was kind of funny.
Let's see here. Just going through my notes. If I have anything else.
For Oscars, this one did win Oscar for makeup. I believe that might be the only one it was up for. This is the same year as the last movie we did.
Roger Rabbit?
Yeah, it was 88 or 89 or whatever. Because the
88, yeah.
88 because the same. Yeah, when I looked it up, it was still Rain Man. Yeah, Rain Man still won.
Rain Man,
Best
Rain Man.
picture didn't change.
Oh, have you guys seen Beetlejuice the musical?
No.
No, thank you.
Is that a thing?
Yeah. Looks awful. I watched like a couple of videos. Like I need to get like some sort of like taste of what this is, even though I'm generally not a fan of musicals. And yeah, it looked pretty bad. And like they interviewed the cast and is what you would expect like annoying theater people to sound like talking about their show. So I really said I was going to try to be more positive in 2021, but I see it's going well.
You gotta draw. a
Tune
line
in next
somewhere.
week, theater people.
Yeah. Well, there goes our theater people audience.
Well, it's cool. They have time on their hands right now.
Oh, shit.
Oh. Yeah, I was looking back at some of our episodes, like when we did what was it? Like Scent of a Woman, and even like the Christmas Vacation one. I was like, I was pretty harsh on these movies, like especially Christmas Vacation, but it's pretty harsh.
Actually, theater people, I would like to say that these guys have been on the fence for musicals. I actually really enjoy musicals and plays.
Oh, I'm a big musical guy.
I mean, there are some, yeah, right?
The problem is there aren't very many that you can see without going to them that won't ruin it for you. I was actually watching some YouTube stuff where they were dissecting the Les Miserables movie with Hugh Jackman, and Les Miserables is my hands down favorite musical, and oh my goodness, did that movie do it injustice, and for many reasons that this like video went into, one of which Hugh Jackman thought to really get the, I don't know if you know what the musical is about, but he's a prisoner in the beginning.
Yeah.
And to really get that feel of him being a rough and ragged prisoner, he was like not eating or drinking water, which if you know anything about singing, you kind of need to drink water.
Yeah.
And the other side is they did all the music live in like during the filming. They didn't sing in a studio. So then he's like dehydrated, physically acting, trying to sing. And he was awful. And he's a really good singer and a good stage performer and all that stuff. But oh my goodness, was that bad.
That was a terrible decision, 24601.
Yeah, come on. Love me some Jean Valjean.
I got into a fight at a party once over that movie. Because I was...
Hold on, everybody. Shh.
Gotta hear this.
I got popcorn. Jamie, go.
I swear it's not cooler than that. I was trying to say different versions of what you said, Casey. Like, it's not that I don't like that story, because I do. It's not like I'm saying the musical is bad, because it's probably not. But that movie version of that musical was terrible.
Bad.
For what you laid out, and Russell Crowe cannot sing. Terrible. Awful. And yeah, this was a personal thing. I didn't like that it was about Cosette and, less about Valjean and Javert. That kind of...
Oh, I mean,
Cosette.
That's the whole thing's about Jean Valjean, like at its core. But then Cosette is obviously a big factor in it as well. That's just the musical, though.
Yeah, but it seemed like, and maybe I was thinking more of the movie where it went more like Javert and Valjean. But I was like, oh, that was a different turn I wasn't expecting. But long story short, it was, the kind of party where it's not an actual fight. It's like a fight about musicals.
How do you guys feel about Cannibal the musical?
Oh my goodness, it's so good. It's one of my favorite dumb movies. It's so good. That was me and my buddy's favorite high school movie. We to this day will still quote it and talk about Spadoinkle. I'm going to say one last thing about Les Mis, because I'll sit and talk about it forever if you let me. But if you want the actual Les Mis experience, there is a 50th anniversary. It's mostly an opera. It's not really the play, but they basically brought in the best actor or actress that's ever played this specific role, and they did the whole show more as an opera, less as a play. But it was when I was in French class, I had to take a semester of French in like junior high, just the way that our schools were organized. You took a little bit of everything before you decided your electives. And so I had 2 months of French class, and we watched it in its entirety. And that's when I fell in love with it. But that's to this day, the best rendition of it, if you want to listen to it, is the 50th anniversary special. And there's a film version where you can watch them singing it and everything. But if you want the full experience, that's what I would recommend listening to or watching.
I had a friend while I was in high school, like every weekend we'd get together and drink, and he'd always have to play the Les Mis soundtrack. So I've heard that soundtrack. So I can't sing it to you right now, but if I heard it start to play, I could probably recite.
Oh man, I could sing the whole thing. Let's sing right now.
But I haven't seen the
I mean, watching the performance isn't any different than listening to it. It's just it's hard for me to actually listen to a musical and not watch it. For the longest time, I didn't I didn't listen to Hamilton. Chris actually was obsessed with it and tried to get me into it.
Mhm.
And I can't
Yeah.
without seeing it in action. I can't. But for some reason, this opera
Yeah, I
performance
hear
could
ya.
do it because you see the characters, up on stage. They were in costume, at least for the most part. And it's obviously it's an opera-ish version of it, but it was enough to get me into it. So if you haven't watched it, want to get into it in any capacity, skip Hugh Jackman, skip Russell Crowe, go watch Colm Wilkinson, the best Jean Valjean that's ever lived.
Jean Valjean. All right, that's Les Mis chat. Join us next week when we talk about. I've found the movie taglines for this. I thought some of these were pretty funny / dumb, but one is in this house, if you see one ghost, you haven't seen them all.
Because there's two.
He's guaranteed to put some life in your afterlife.
That one I do remember.
Like the last one I have the name and laughter from the hereafter.
That one's actually pretty clever. Do they do taglines like that still? And do I just not see them?
It's funny on IMDb because it's like some posters you don't see them as much. Probably because I don't know, we're not going to theater that often anymore. It feels like not just even like this year, but
Right.
If you go on IMDb, there is a tagline. Like, so let's just pick here. Like, I'll throw Tenet, just something I knew that came out recently. And on IMDb, they sure as heck will have a tagline. I guarantee it. Hold on, I'm scrolling down. Trivia quotes tagline: "Time runs out." Give me another movie. Name any movie.
X-Men Origins Wolverine.
Born on the 4th of July.
No, that's too old. There's definitely gonna be a tagline there.
Avengers Endgame.
No, that one is clearly just gonna be the end is here.
Yeah.
Like, come on.
No.
We're in the end game now.
Here, X-Men Origins Wolverine. I got it. 1 second. Okay, tagline. Damn. No, I don't see one on this one. Okay, so that didn't work.
Blade Runner 2049.
Yeah, sorry guys. Tagline: "The key to the future is finally unearthed."
Hold on, before we keep going, I just need to say, so out of our 3 fans that listen to this, if one of them is a theater nerd, it is the 10th anniversary Les Mis that I was referencing, not 50th. I'm a dum-dum. The 10th anniversary is the really good one.
All right.
Thank you for that fact check. Also, I just did another fact check. And the X-Men Origins Wolverine tagline is "Witness the origin."
That sucks.
It's so bad. Born on the 4th. Oh no, what was the other one you said? Not Born on the 4th. Oh, Avengers Endgame. I wanted to see how right I am. Tagline is "Avenge the Fallen." I was wrong.
Oh, super correction. The entire 10th anniversary Les Mis concerts on YouTube. So there you go.
Born on the 4th of July tagline: "A story of innocence lost and courage found." See, early 90s had good tagline. I mean, that's a crappy tagline, but that would have sold me to go see a movie.
Yeah. Yeah, the 80s movies have some pretty cheesy taglines.
And trailers were really bad back in the day too, like pre-internet. If you've ever I tried to I don't remember what movie it was. It was like a 90s movie that I really liked, and I was trying to get my wife to watch
Matrix
it.
Even.
Yeah, I was like, here, watch this trailer. And the trailer was terrible. And I was like, oh, this wouldn't make me want to watch it either. And I don't know that I convinced my wife to watch it with me.
I still think trailers in general are pretty awful. That's one of the worst parts about going to the theater for me, because it's always like
Well, maybe it's I was gonna say maybe it's the type of movie I like though. Well, yeah, maybe it's the movies I like, because specifically my favorite trailer ever, and maybe it's because I loved the movie and it fit in my emo high school time. But the trailer for Garden State I was obsessed. I would, before the movie even came out, I watched the trailer on repeat because it like was perfect for me.
Well, didn't it have that main song in there? That Frou Frou song was in the trailer.
Yes, and so there was some really good trailers.
It.
But no, I agree, Chad. Some of them nowadays, especially, they give away half the movie. So most trailers are awful. But I think I maintain there was like a peak of perfect trailer, like very early internet days, where there were some really good ones that I will still. The trailer for Cloud Atlas gives me goosebumps. That was an amazing trailer as well. But it had a really good good song by that French electronic band that I can't remember. M83, amazing track and an amazing trailer.
Love those guys.
So yeah, if you're ever bored, look up the Garden State trailer. You might not like it because it's a cheesy emo emotional movie that I liked. But the trailer for Cloud Atlas was just phenomenal. Probably better than the movie even, actually.
Yeah, I feel like movies like indie movies from like the early aughts. I mean, those always had kind of fun trailers. But
maybe that's what it is.
All right. Thank you for downloading and listening to and getting this far in this episode of Movie Time Machine, where we talk about the film Beetlejuice and multiple other topics.
Lots of
just want to remind you that new episodes drop on Fridays. Please send your questions, comments, and feedback to moviemachinepod@gmail.com. You can follow us on Twitter @moviemachinepod.
I know who won't be following us on Twitter.
Yep. John Barron.
Yep. John Barron.
The French.
Right? The John Barron thing is that was like his... Trump would like call up like, I don't know if it's like on news programs or like Fox News or whatever, as like that was like his alias, right? He would call in as.
It's so bad. Well, and Barron is his son, so it's like, come on, man.
Yeah, it's like try a little harder. It's kind of like one of those things where like you look around and I'm like, Post-it note.
It's like the family tier
Mexican Mexican Halloween.
That's most likely SNL skit then this Saturday.
Oh
right?
yeah,
like it's gonna be Alec Baldwin, like maybe with a mustache or a beard, going, "No, it's not me. It's yeah, it's Ted Post-it note." Like whatever you're saying. Like I think that's gonna be the thing.
All right. Thanks for carrying the show tonight, guys. I'm pretty out.
Yeah, Casey, I can't tell if I like you better sober or drunk. I think I like you drunk, a little bit tipsy.
Yeah, I'm a little louder. My wife commented last pod. She's like, "I heard you a lot more this time." And I was like, "Oh, I had one too many beers that time then."
How late were you playing Fallen Order that night?
Oh man, I mean, I think I cracked a beer halfway through the pod, and you can't go to bed right after a beer, so I had to play for maybe an hour or so. I'm gonna go hit The Witcher in a minute here when we're done.